morning. Beautiful day out, plus 9 degrees Celsius. We're in Washington. We are on Highway 20 northbound. We're somewhere between Cusick and Madeline. I couldn't tell you exactly where we are, where I am. No guess for who knows how long. So I'm running empty from Spokane to Castlegar. I'll get a load there that's going to go to Calgary, Alberta. So today will be Washington, British Columbia, Alberta. One state, two provinces. Hardware store I dropped off this load at, he just goes, "You're the first Canadian truck we've seen in a week." I wonder if there's a bunch of truck drivers that are refusing to drive across the border. Because what if they close the border even to truck drivers? Then I'd be stuck on this side. Everything's so quiet though, so quiet. I'm driving through Spokane today morning. It just felt like just a slow day in Spokane. Like rush hour was nothing. It's like everybody's staying at home. Just kind of weird. Same with border crossing. It just felt so strange at the border crossing. The only vehicles I saw at the border were some RVs coming from the US, snowbirds headed back to Canada. They all have to go into isolation for 14 days coming across the border. And then big rigs. 2 other big rigs headed south across the border with me, so. But the rest of the border was just closed. It was just dead. It's like, this feels so strange. And the Osoyoos crossing is usually busy. There's usually quite a few cars there, and it's just empty. And of course there's paperwork issues with my load, so it took me half an hour to cross the border to get the paperwork figured out. Luckily it was fairly easy, so I'm still running on time. said they wanted me to be in Calgary tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'm like, I don't know about that one. Might be a little after 7 a.m. Depends how fast I get loaded at Kolesnikov and if there's a lineup when I need fuel and stuff like that. So maybe, I'd say between 7 and 9 right now. Right now my guess would be 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. Between there somewhere. These roads here in the US are always narrow, windy roads, kind of fun to travel on. So, thanks to this coronavirus, my new truck has been canceled. The Canadian dollars has dropped like a rock, making my new truck way, way more expensive. And since the lease on this thing ends in a week from now, I'm going to have to give this one up and grab a different used truck. One without the 2 bunks in it. Which doesn't really matter right now, because Jess can't ride with me anyway. So next week you guys should see me in a different truck if all went to plan. Hopefully it's a decent truck, hopefully it's a clean truck inside. And then we'll run that truck until the economy comes back up, or Jess is allowed to travel in the truck again. Then I will push to get a truck with 2 bunks in it, upper and lower bunk. Preferably not a used truck, preferably a brand new one to my specs. But the Canadian dollar is going to have to get stronger before we can order a truck. was lots of factors in buying the truck, but if they had ordered mine in February when the dollar was strong to my specs, I'd be in my new truck right now with 2 bunks. Jess wouldn't be able to come with me, but we'd have an affordable truck. But I'm not in control of that, so it is what it is. And I'll try to deal with that. Not super happy about it, but I'll try to deal with that. Well, now we're on Highway 3 eastbound, climbing Kootenai Pass. Climbing this mountain right now, I'm debating, is this a longer climb than connector or about the same as the connector? They're pretty close. They both definitely beat the Coquihalla on how long you are in a climb. It's a consistent up climb. Down at the bottom it looked like it was snowing up on the mountain here, but here it looks pretty good. So I think down there it probably was a little further north, so further north it must be snowing. Looking good here. Roads are nice and dry. Almost all the snow's melted. There's not that much left on the side of the road. Watch for rocks on the road though. We're doing a full 27 kilometers per hour. It's always nice when you load a load like this. Forklift is done loading you and you look at your weights and you kind of look at the forklift and go, "Are you sure?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, these are my weights here. I'm happy running like this, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you that I'm light. I am very light." So he goes and grabs another bundle. I'm like, "You could probably double that, put 2 more bundles on." Have to shuffle stuff around a little bit to fit another 2 bundles on. So I took an additional 2 bundles of 10 feet lumber. And I'm still underweight. Not by much, but I'm still underweight. I think if we played around a lot longer, we could have probably got another half bundle on by shuffling stuff around. But I didn't want to sit there for another hour figuring that kind of stuff out. I want to roll 2. And since I already got 2 more bundles than he expected, I'm like, I think that's a good compromise. We're not quite maxed out. Each axle has a little bit of room, so if we moved the 2 bundles on the back trailer all the way to the back, and moved the bundles on the front trailer that they're overhanging the back of the trailer a little bit, there might be room for a half bundle on the front. Yeah, I think so. Might be. I'll show it to you when we stop at the top before I do my brake check. And then I pulled through the scale, and all of a sudden the red light comes on. It's like, okay, stop. The red light stayed on for quite a while, and then all of a sudden it said proceed. Like, okay. I pull out and start heading to the roadway, and I see the scale guy jump out of his office and hurry run out. And at the same time, a Sutco pickup pulls through. So he stopped the Sutco pickup, got the Sutco pickup to stop, and then he continued to the road, assuming that I was going to do the loop and head west, but I'm headed east. And I see him going toward the road, and I've seen him go to the road before. He intends to stop the driver that he just let go through. I'm like, well, I'm going the other direction, so I could just hammer down and go. But I'm pretty sure he wants me, so I just stopped there for a little bit till he looked at me. I kind of motioned, do you want me? He goes, waves me over. I'm like, okay, I'll loop west, loop around, and went and pulled into the scale again. So he obviously saw something that he wasn't quite happy with. I'm like, okay. What the heck is going on now? What did I do wrong? Why am I in trouble? Because the Sutco pickup is one of our supervisors that takes care of us drivers, make sure everything is safe, make sure the chippers in the area, like tarping stations, all that kind of stuff is safe. So I'm like, okay. Pull in, he just goes, just hang in your truck for just a minute. He runs in and gets this long poker stick and starts poking at my load. And he goes, everything seems tight. It just looks awfully loose. I'll show you what I mean when I stop at the top. The rear trailer has some short lumber in it, and it looks like some of the lumber might have slid. So if you don't know that that's how I loaded the lumber, it looks like it's an unstable load, that something is loose in there. But because I loaded it that way, I way overstrapped the thing because it was kind of funky. So I get why he wanted to stop me. It looks, especially from the back, it just looks really wrong. It's like, this is the way I loaded it. It looks like a bunch of wood is shifted all over the place. It's like, nope, it's good. Nothing's moving. She's solid. So it was a little funny. And I was just happy I wasn't in any kind of trouble. I screwed up anything. I'm like, what'd I forget this time? I'm trying to rack through my brain. I'm like, I can't think of anything I missed. I'm like, everything was good. I strapped down the tarps. We're good. I'm not overweight. I can't see anything wrong. Did my pre-trip just a few hours before that. All my lights are good. I've cleaned my reflectors. All my tires were good on my pre-trip. I'm like, what'd I do wrong? Now, legally, I think I could have just continued west and I would have been fine, but let's work with them, right? There's really 3 scenarios. Best scenario is I'm driving down the road, I do a load secure, and I go, oh, that bundle of 1x4s is a little bit loose and it's shifted on me. I really got to secure that before one of those 1x4s falls out or something. Second scenario is CVSE notices something has moved that I didn't notice, and they pull me over and give me a ticket. That is by far a much better option. I would much rather have CVSE pull me over and give me a ticket than driving down the road with an insecure load and have that 1x4 slip through and go through some window, go right through a minivan with a windshield, go through the windshield of a minivan behind me or something like that, you know, impale someone. I would much rather have the ticket. A little more snow up here. So, out of those three scenarios, I'll rather, my favorite would be that I see there's something wrong and I fix it right away. And I'd much rather have CVSE give me a ticket than driving all the way to Calgary with an unstable load. So it's good they stop us and double check, especially a load that looks like there might be something wrong, which also means that I've got more scales to go. I might get pulled over again. Looks like they've got an excavator up here on the left hand side. You see this little roadway here. They got an excavator up there working. I think they're getting ready for mudslide season. Yeah, working up there, making sure that the water flows properly. I think this is 4-lane here, but I'm not driving in that snow, so I think Ontario made a fairly safe pass. It's double solid, but like I said, I think that technically it is 4-lane here, and we can see way out ahead. If the driver actually looked up the hill and looked around the corner, like I was doing, he made a safe pass. If he just went blind trust past me, well then that was not very safe. That was a little bit tight over there. I'm like, not quite 3 lanes yet. In the winter, this 3-lane turns into 2 lanes, but it looks like the 3 lanes are starting to come back in most of the places here. So, no new snow up here, so I'm happy. Truck's not overheating either, so that's good. Looks like they did a good job of cleaning out the rad. I think I'll miss this truck. Last week in the truck, it's been good to me. I mean, I know some of you guys are laughing. I've been in the shop, but realistically, this truck has been less in the shop than a lot of the other trucks. Oh, it's snowing here. If you guys took your car and drove between 10 and 13 hours a day in that car, every single day, well, 5 days a week, put 60 to 70 hours on your car every week, it would break down more often than this truck has. That I can guarantee you. My power divider lock on. Somebody's coming up behind me fast. I might put one of the tires on that snow. Yeah, so it's snowing a little bit, but not enough to make the roads wet yet. It's +6 out, so at the top. I'll show you guys the load. Pass summit, elevation under snow. This is why you in the summer you go, man, these signs are high up. Long posts for these signs. They need to have long posts. Alright. On duty, brake check. I'm going to leave the engine idling for just a little bit because that's a long climb. I'll show you guys the load and then I'll come and shut the engine off. Put my jacket on. Camera doesn't want to sit there. All right. Extra 2 bundles of this 10-foot stuff on the top here, and you kind of see how the back, it's kind of hard to tell over here. Yeah, I'll definitely have to clean those lights off. Over here, kind of see at the top there where there's a gap, some short bundles in there, and that's what he was worried about. Anyway, I'll catch up with you guys further down the road.
Well, I got into my book a little too much and forgot to shoot some more video. Made it to Nanton, Alberta for the night. Yeah, I've been listening to Ender's Game, and I listened to like half the book yesterday. It's good. It's definitely good. Highly recommended. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Lots of comments please. Always appreciate those. You guys have been dropping lots of comments in there, so it's been fun reading them all. Lots of fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.